Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Wednesday's art enrichment video. Remember, please bring your books to the your library books to Northlake today. Drop them off anytime between 11 and 2, and then again from 4 to 6. I will be up at the school from 4 to 6 to collect some of those books. Alright, with that over, let's jump into today's lesson. This is going to be a two-part video. Today's lesson is going to go with Thursday's lesson, and then Friday we are going to have another live right here on YouTube, same time as always, 2 p.m. Alright, so we are doing the theme of science. And so I thought, why not let's do some space? It is so much fun to paint space and do that little splatter paint with the stars. I want to tell you guys a little bit about the things you find in space first. Alright, so most of you guys know this already. Our sun is actually a giant star, and stars are just gigantic balls of gas, which I think is really, really cool how it stays together and burns bright and gives us light. And then a planet is going to be more dense. It's going to be made out of solids, and planets come in every different sizes, big ones, small ones, different colors, different shapes. Sometimes they can have rings around them. And then other things in space are going to be asteroids. These are chunks of rock that are floating around in space. Asteroids are so much fun to paint. And then there are a bunch of other things you can have in space, but those are the things I'm going to focus on today. We're also going to do something with a galaxy color. I'm very, very excited about this one. I can't wait to do it. So today's video is just all about the space scape, and the next time we are going to build a 3D rocket that is coming up off the page. So excited about this project. Let me give you guys a sneak peek of what it looks like. So I'm going to show you guys how to do all of this. I'm not going to set up all the materials in the beginning because I use so many different materials to make this. Don't worry, you can use whatever you have on hand. Let me flip this over and explain it all to you. So I am going to be using a bunch of different materials today, so I'm not going to show them to you all up front. As I get to each step, I will tell you guys what my different mediums are. That does not mean that you have to use all of the different mediums as me. I want you to pick one that works best for you, and then you use that. Like I've been saying this whole entire time we have been doing these projects together. Alright, so we are making our solar system. Really fun. And remember, this is a two-part video. Today we're just making the space area. Next time I will show you guys how to make a 3D rocket, kind of like when we did the 3D hot air balloon. Okay, so I know that I want this thing to be pretty big. So here's a standard white piece of paper, but here are 2 pieces of black construction paper. So my first step, because I want it to be nice and big, is to tape these 2 pieces of paper together. Alright, now that I have taped them together, this is actually the back, and this is the front where you cannot see the tape. You don't have to tape 2 pieces of paper together. This is yours. Hopefully you do have construction paper. If you don't have construction paper, I highly suggest using a black crayon, and after you draw your planets and your suns and everything else, then you color in with a black crayon in the background to make it look black and like space. A black crayon or a colored pencil. I do not recommend markers because markers will go through the paper and kind of warp it. Or another suggestion is to paint your paper black first and then wait for it to dry, and then you can use it as black paper. I happen to have some black paper. I've been saving it specifically for a project like this. These are my last 2 pages of black paper. So Now that I have this, I need to figure out what I want to do with all of my space. So not only is there space on my paper, which is an art word, but this is going to be space like as an outer space. So that I want you guys to come up with your own images in your brain. You can choose to draw like Earth right here or Earth right here, put the sun over here, and you can do all of the planets in our solar system, or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going to make up random planets with different colors and shades and sizes and all of that fun stuff. So in my world, what I want to do is I'm going to put a sun-like object over here where I'm going to use a bunch of different colors. And so I'm not going to see the whole thing. It's kind of going to be like somebody's taking a picture of the planet from here, looking at all of the stars out here. And then my rocket is going to go right here, so I don't need to put any planets up here. If I want to, I totally can. I'm probably going to do something over here, and then the majority of my stuff is going to be over here. There are so many fun different things in space. That's why I love space and science and all that stuff. So I'm going to do a sun, which is a gigantic ball of gas. I'm going to do some planets, some big ones and some small ones. And then I want to do something like an asteroid belt, which is just a bunch of asteroids that are caught in between two planets with their gravitational pull. The asteroids are kind of stuck there. And then I'm going to do random little tiny stars everywhere, maybe like a little galaxy way, way far in the back. This is limitless to what you want this to look like. I don't want yours to look like mine. I want yours to look like yours. Got it? Good. All right. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is my sun. If I wanted to, I could put my paper right here. I could draw the curve, and then I could color this paper and cut it out and glue it on. But I don't want to do that. I want to use another medium I have here at my house. I'm going to be using oil pastels. So I am going to keep it in this normal sun color family. If you want to make this one blue or purple or pink, it's up to you. I am going to keep it in the yellows, the oranges, with a teeny tiny bit of red. Okay. My mess mat, because I'm going to be getting the corner down here. Okay. If you want to, you can get an object that's round and you can trace around it to help you create the round shape, or you can just draw it yourself. Completely up to you. So what I did is I helped it create a round shape, but then I made it even wider. Now these are oil pastels. You could do this with crayon on white paper or whatever you have at home. I'm just going to do random streaks of color everywhere because I'm going to cover this whole entire thing, this little area, with oil pastels. Let's do some fast forwarding. Alright, I really like this. I still have a few little spaces that look a little bit too black for me. And then the sun, like I just told you guys, is a giant ball of gas. And so there's sometimes sun flares. So I actually want to have some sun flares that are coming off of my little sun. There we go. I like that a lot. Okay, if I wanted to, I could stick to oil pastels for the whole thing, but I'm going to mix up all of my different mediums so you guys can see all the different things you can do. So put that away. Next, I want to switch to some watercolor paint. So I got my watercolor paint here. I've got my water here. I'm actually going to move my black paper out of the way so I don't accidentally get something on it that I don't want to. If you want to draw out your planets first so you know what size they're going to be, that is a pretty good idea. Here we go. And I know I want to have some bigger ones and some smaller ones. You can always take an object, put it down, and trace it so that you get a nice good circle. I'm just going to freehand my circles. Alright, I am not done with this piece of paper. I'm going to reuse it with a bunch of different things. But right now, I'm just going to paint some of my planets. And I'm going to help the colors all blend together. So I have a nice medium-sized brush. Get this wet. And I want to do a green and yellow planet. So I know how to use value. This side of the planet I want darker. So I'm going to color it green with letting streaks come this way. Get a little bit more paint and paint just right back here. Green. There we go. I think that's as dark as I can get it. Wash my brush and go into the yellow. And it is perfectly okay if I paint outside of the lines. I don't have to paint inside the lines because I'm going to cut this out. Alright, so I am not getting that middle color I wanted, so I'm going to mix to get that middle color. Take this paint, put it up here in the little lid, and then I got a little bit of green right here. I'm going to grab that green, mix it in, and that gives me a nice little light green color. I need a little bit more green. There we go. Okay, I could leave my planet just like this, but I want to give it a little dark spot because I can. Grab some purple right here. And over here. There we go. I like it. Okay. I could stop using watercolor paints and I can switch to markers or crayons or anything like that. I can draw some more planets here too. I think I want to switch to some markers. Now remember, you don't have to keep switching materials. I'm just showing you guys a bunch of different things you can do. This guy, show you something really cool that you can do with markers. I'm only going to color half of it. And then I'm going to take my brush, rub it, let the ink come down, let the mix in between, and voila! It gives me this really cool fade of colors. I love it. You can also take markers and you can draw on some hard plastic and add water, and that will give you watercolor paint as well. Okay, let's use some crayons. First I need to clean up a little bit. Running out of room over here. Now I picked some pink, some blues, and some purples. And I want my ring to be pink. So I actually want to color that first. Now I want to streak it with some purple. Ooh, I like that. Okay. Top of my planet is going to be pink. have it fade down, meaning you don't push as hard. And the bottom, don't push as hard. Push really hard where you want it to be dark and lighten up. And then I want to switch it into purple. So I mix my purple directly on top of my pink, pushing lightly, and then have it get a little bit darker, so push a little harder. Okay, here is my little planet. I tried to color the edges a little bit darker purple to try to have it look more like a sphere. And my crayon broke. Woo-hoo-hoo. So sad. That's okay. We're going to save it anyway. That happens. Now, I am going to cut these guys out. There we go. All done cutting out my planets. I am not done adding planets because I'm going to do some more on this black paper. Alright, my black paper back here. Planet there and here. Remember, I can put some stuff over here too, but I like it over here, and right here is where I'm going to put my rocket. So, let's get these cute little planets glued in. Okay, so now because I'm using black paper, I am going to be able to come in here with some chalk pastels or oil pastels or whatever you have. If you don't have chalk or oil pastels, I suggest doing it on white paper and cutting it out and gluing it onto this. So I want to make my little asteroid belt. I'm going to make it going through here and another planet over here. So white is going to be very, very helpful for this. So I'm going to start over here, and I'm just going to do little dots, clumping some of them together, spreading some of them apart. Making some of them bigger, some of them smaller. They don't have to be round, they can be jagged, they can be every different size. I'm really just trying to spread them out everywhere is my goal. I like that a lot. Gray would have been my first choice, but I did not have gray in this set. I could have switched to something else, but it's all good. Alright, so I did want to draw another little planet way, way, way back here. A little small planet far off in the distance. There we go. I like it. I like it a lot. Okay. So, I need something over here. I think I want to do another big star. This time I'm doing it with chalk pastel. I'm rubbing my finger in it. There we go. Now it's gluing because I left the edges be kind of everywhere. Got messy again. That's okay. Okay. So my rocket's going to go here, and I'm not going to do too much more there. But now I want to show you a fun little technique that you guys have seen online a lot, and I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to do this. Don't know if you have some liquid paint at home, but this is definitely going to require liquid paint, whether it's tempera or acrylic. And you guys saw these paints when I did my Mother's Day project. I just need to grab my white. Oh, and purple and blue. Okay. Paper towel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sponge technique. It's kind of like the same way we did the sand in the box. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of create like this galaxy-esque kind of colors everywhere. So first we're going to start off with white. The reason I ripped this is to give me lots of different little edges. You can pour this onto a plate if it's helpful. I'm just going to pour it into the lid and it's going to go right back into the bottle. I might come back to this white and do some more with it, but for now that's good. Okay, I want even less of this one, smaller. See how there's already paint in the lid? Mix this right on top of the white. Let it mix in together. Something under the edge so I don't paint on my table. Now go back over the same area because right now it's really, really light and I want it to be darker with purple. Okay, like it, and I purposely left that space with no purple because I also wanted to mix in blue. You could mix in green as well. You could mix in yellow. You can mix in whatever colors you want. This is your space scape. Oh my goodness, it's so pretty. And yes, I am going to cover it up with my rocket a little bit, but that is okay. Covering up part of your background makes it look more intentional. Okay, then the very last thing I want to do, this is the thing you guys have all seen on the internet that you're like, I want to do that. It's where you take paint. My paint's a little bit thick, so I need to add a little bit of water to it. Your paint, you're probably not going to need to do that. And now we are going to, if you have an extra toothbrush, this is much better to do with a toothbrush. I'm going to flick my paint everywhere to make those little drops of stars. Get a heavier concentration right here in my asteroid belt. Oh, I forgot to lay down something over here. Miss O'Keefe. Okay, I'm going to do a bunch right here. A little bit more water, more paint. And maybe I can make one big shining star right here. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. You can do those everywhere you want to. I want to do a little bit more in my asteroid belt. All right, that looks so amazing. I'm really happy with the way this has turned out. Okay, so I showed you guys a bunch of different ways to make a bunch of different planets. I think I'm going to bring in my yellow paint and I'm going to brighten this up a little bit with my yellow paint. But you guys get the idea. I showed you a bunch of different things you can do. Create this background, and next time I will show you guys how to add the little 3D rockets. Also, if you have some tinfoil laying around, tinfoil will be super helpful with our rocket to make it look metal and shiny. All right, guys, happy creating!